All right, Sandra, let's bring in Hillel Neuer. He's the executive director of UN Watch. He testified at yesterday's House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing on the UNRWA. So we've got at least 12 members of UNRWA employees in Gaza who took part in the October 7th massacre. 1,200 employees who have some ties to either Hamas or Islamic Jihad. It's shocking, but should we be surprised?
Well, look, I'm not surprised because my organization, UN Watch, for the past 9 years has been documenting widespread and systematic incitement to jihadi terrorism and calls to murder Jews, glorification of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis by UNRWA teachers, school principals, and other employees in Gaza, the West Bank, and Jordan. We submitted all of this to the United Nations, to UNRWA. They didn't want to hear about it. They attacked us. So we know very well that they are aware of this and they couldn't care less. That's the truth.
The Biden administration didn't seem to be very aware of this, but the previous administration was. Listen to what Nikki Haley said the other day on Fox and Friends.
I knew all the officials at UNRWA. I saw the schools where they were preaching all this terrorist hate against Israelis. I saw the graffiti on the walls. I was there on the ground. And I told President Trump we had to stop the funding. State Department fought me on it. At the end of the day, we cut the funding, and Biden went and put that funding back.
You know, that was one of the many things that Biden reversed from the Trump administration, and it's one of the many reversals that has come back to bite him and bite him hard. The last administration seemed to know what UNRWA was all about. Why doesn't this administration?
I think it's a good question. You know, we had meetings with senior officials in the administration, the State Department, when they reinstated funding, when we told them about the entanglement of UNRWA employees with terrorism, the encouragement and promotion of terrorism. The senior official of the State Department said, you know, he didn't know what we were talking about. He thought everything was great at UNRWA. So, you know, they never contacted us. The State Department, giving hundreds of millions of dollars, never asked us for more information about how to ensure that American taxpayers are not funding terrorism.
And to this day, the White House still believes in the broader mission of UNRWA. Listen to what John Kirby said.
But you got 13,000 UNRWA employees, the UN Relief and Works Agency. You have 13,000 of them in Gaza alone. And as I said last week, let's not impugn the good work of a whole agency because of the potential bad actions here by a small number.
Bad actions by a small number. I mean, that would seem to be minimizing at the very least the situation there. You said in your testimony, it's rotten to the core. It would seem as though 10% of the employees at UNRWA had at least some ties to terrorism. Does it go beyond that?
It may well go beyond that. We're looking at, you know, not just 12 involved in actual massacre, murder, mutilation, rape, and torture. 1,200 who are operatives of Hamas and Islamic Jihad in the political or military organization. As many as 6,000 have a close family member in Hamas or Islamic Jihad. This agency is tainted with terrorism. Hamas controls it. When the UNRWA Gaza director 3 years ago said something on TV that was off script of Hamas, he said the IDF strikes on Hamas were precise. They ousted him from Gaza and got a new guy who would stick onto the script. So Hamas is controlling UNRWA. We know it. There are alternatives. The State Department needs to recognize the UN Refugee Agency and other relief organizations around the world can handle distribution of aid. Doesn't need to be a Hamas-infested agency. There are many alternatives.
Although Biden seems to be wedded to this because it's reading the tea leaves, it looks like after this investigation is complete, they'll restore the funding again.
It looks like it's going that way, and we're doing everything on our part to make sure that this terrorist-infested agency does not doom Palestinians and Israelis to continued war.
Hillel, great to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it.